if you've just begun the journey to know how to manage your personal finance, you definitely need to read this book, The Richest Man in Babylon. I know this book is not the latest book in the market. It has been here for the longest time, but one thing I love about this book, it gives us the foundation on how to know how to manage our personal finance. Like, it gives you the basic thing. Like, you see the way you go to school and then you start from the most basic level. This is what this book will help you. It teaches you the basic principles of money, how money works, how money moves. And anyone who is beginning on the journey, I would advise you read this book even before you read any other book or alongside any other book. So one of the things I love about this book, The Richest Man in Babylon, it has this principle. It's called the 7 cure for a lean purse. So the author takes time to go through all the 7 cures for a lean purse. So the first cure is fatten your purse. Fatten your purse. So if you have a lean purse, it simply means you don't have much money. If your purse is lean, it means it's thin, it means it's empty, it means there is nothing in your purse. So that means you need to do something to put money in your purse. It could mean if you don't have a job, do something to get a job. Or if you have a job and perhaps the job you're doing, it's what you're making still iko chini, it means get another job. So first, rule number 1, fatten your purse. Get a means of making money if you don't have one, or if already you have a means of making money, get another means of making money. You know what they say in the financial world, if you only have one source of income, that is dangerous. You should have more than one source of income. Hence, fatten your purse. So when you listen to this, you'll get motivated, to start doing something or to increase your streams of income. Number 2, control your expenditure, aka budgeting. Well, I won't say much about this. There is so much on budgeting out there, but it tells you the importance of budgeting, because sometimes, like for example, I've heard of stories of people who make so little but they do so much, and there are people who make so much but do so little. What's the difference? Where their money goes. Budgeting. Number 3, investing, making your money give birth to other money. So in short, now that you've fattened your purse, now that you've controlled your spending, whatever now that you have, make that money work for you. Make your money give birth to other money babies. And the best way to do this is to invest. Make sure that you put your money to work. Make sure you put your money to work for you, so that if you had 1 shilling, that shilling can give birth to another shilling. If you had 5 shillings, that 5 shillings can give birth to another 5 shillings, or 1 shillings, or 2 shillings. In short, invest. The other one is ensure a future income. Ensure a future income, and especially in your old age. Especially when you are young, you think you'll be young forever. But the truth of the matter is, days go by so fast. One day you wake up and you're 50, and you will be amazed. Ulifika je 50, you'll be like, how did I come here? So the best way to do that is to invest in pension, or just have an investment that will take care of you in your old age when you don't have enough energy to make money. The other one, which I also love, increase your ability to earn. Increase your ability to earn. So this is the 7th principle, increase your ability to earn. So this means you should learn. It's what I got from the book is that you should learn a different skill. So learn new skill every day. As each day goes by, as you go through each day, don't be the same person you are 1 year ago. If 1 year ago you knew 2 things, by the time God gives you grace to be 1 more year, you should at least add 1 more new skill that you have. So at least with each passing year, by the grace of God, if a year is short, at least each 2 years, each 3 years, just make sure there's a difference between you of now and you of 5 years ago. But if you sit down and analyze your life in terms of skills and even values, and even where you are right now is exactly where you are 5 years ago, it could mean that perhaps there is something that is not true. And I know sometimes when we think about increasing your ability, you think about going to school. You don't have to go to school, really. You can learn from a friend a skill. You can learn from the YouTube. You can learn from YouTube is a very good place to learn a new skill, so that as each day goes by, you become a better version of yourself every day. So that at least at the end of each year, or at the end of 2 years, at the end of 3 years, when you sit down and analyze your life and you look at yourself, you will see that there's an improvement. If you knew how to cook mandazi only at least In 3 years, you now know how to cook something else. That is if you're interested in cooking. If you're interested in becoming a tailor and a dressmaker, you can even learn a skill in that. So, but the basic principle here is increase the ability to earn. And this increased ability to earn, it can also mean learn a new skill, and you don't have to go to school. You don't even have to use that much money in the beginning to learn a skill. Perhaps after you become more financially stable, you can learn, you can you don't have to go like to formal school. You can learn, you can pay to have a particular service, so, or skill. So these 7 cures of a lean past, I really enjoyed this. And then one thing about The Richest Man in Babylon, okay, I read The Richest Man in Babylon through audio, and the person was narrating, I loved his voice. You know, he was narrating it in a very soothing manner. I enjoyed it. I think I listened to it twice. It was just, you know, you listen to it, you listen to the stories. And then another good thing about The Richest Man in Babylon, it has stories, and in this, through these stories, you can actually see yourself in each of those stories. So that's another advantage of The Richest Man in Babylon. It is not just do this, do that, this is the principle here, but it has like stories where it shows us these principles. So that was another thing that I loved about The Richest Man in Babylon. And one of the stories one of the stories that I loved about The Richest Man in Babylon, there are two. So I'm going to share one. One is, there is a friend who goes to another friend to go and borrow some money. I believe they went to go and borrow some money from the friend. And this friend he did something with horses. He was making chariots. So the one friend goes to another friend who makes chariots so that they can go and borrow money. When this friend reaches to the friend who makes chariots, this, let's call this friend charioteer. This charioteer friend says that he does not have money. Then this friend who is borrowing money is amazed. What do you mean you don't have money? So you see the irony. The person who is going to borrow money is shocked that the person he has gone to borrow money from doesn't have money, yet he himself doesn't have money. Then this other friend was come to borrow, let's call her the borrower. The borrower is like, wait, you don't have money, and I can see all those chariots there, shouldn't you fix them so that you can have money, so that you can lend me the money? So this friend is like, I have been working for the longest time in my life. I have been working since my youth, and now I'm old, but the more I work, I don't even know where my money goes to. So by now, I think you can relate. And then these two friends decide to go and visit another friend who they went to school with, and this friend is now rich. So they're like, oh, let us go and visit this other friend. You know, he was lucky, the God smiled at him, now he's rich. So you see that mentality that these three friends, this rich friend, the richest man in Babylon, he did not come from a privileged background. As you read the entire book, you'll find that this richest man in Babylon he came from a very poor background like the two of them, but the richest man in Babylon did something different with his life. So these two friends, they think that this richest man in Babylon, he's just lucky, the God smiled at him. But when they reached to the richest man in Babylon, he was able to tell them that he was not lucky. He only learned principles of money, put those principles of money in place, and then later on there were some fruits. So he shared with them the principles. One of them is on 7 cure of a lean past, and he told them, if you go ahead and put this in place, you will find that by the time next year comes, you'll be better. Of course, there were some was like, that is not true, but few tried and they saw a difference in their life. This is same to us as human beings. Sometimes you look at someone and then you're like, oh, they are so lucky, they have all. So you look at them, they're lucky, God's doing them, but when you are told to do what they do, you do not want to do. So The Richest Man in Babylon is such a good book to read. It gives you the basic principle of money, how money works. Money attracts money. If you have no money, it will not attract any money. And money goes where it is respected. If you mistreat your money, that is misuse your money, obviously you will never see much of money. But if you use your money well, it might take time, but eventually you will find that money will make it will you will find it will attract other money for you if you invest it and if you follow the principle. The other story that I loved about in this book is there's a guy who had worked hard, and then he had received some money, and now he was wondering where to put that money. So this guy had a sister. This sister wanted him to take his earned money and give that money to her husband, because her husband felt that he was so unlucky. Everything he does not do well. So because he feels so unlucky, he just believes the husband that his brother-in-law owes him that money so that he can go put it in his business. So this man who has received this money went to talk to a money lender so that he can give him advice. So the money lender told him, first of all, this is your money. You have all the right to do with it whatever you want. Don't let anyone blackmail you, in thinking that you are obliged to help them. You are not obliged to help them. Number one. Number two, if your brother-in-law has just told you every business he has done has collapsed, so that means if you're going to give him your money, the chances of that business collapsing is so high. So are you willing to part with your money? This brother was like, no, because again, it's not as if he was rich. He had just done some job, and then he had just come about this large chunk of money. So it's not as if he was rich. He had just come upon that money. So eventually he invested with the money lender, and he didn't give his brother-in-law the money. So of course you can guess what happens when you refuse to give your money to family members. Drama happened. But I hope you see like the principle there, underlining there. So evil. And there are so many good stories in it. So the book revolves around the richest man in Babylon, him, and then there's also the story about his son, a very beautiful story, and how his son learned about how to manage money. So basically, the richest man in Babylon will tell you it will teach you the basic principles of money. That is, make money, keep money, and whatever money you have kept, let that money earn interest for you. So this book is a must for you to read. If you've not read it, you will enjoy it. It's an easy read. It doesn't bombard you so much. Again, it doesn't really tell you it doesn't tell you step 1 do this, step 2 do this. But even as you read through the principles, these are things you can implement. Things like fatten your purse, you can implement it. Like acquire money, keep money, increase money. That is the basic principle of the richest man in Babylon. Acquire money, that means you need to have a means of making money. Keep money, that you've made the money, make sure you don't misuse it. And not that you've kept the money, make sure that your kept money earns you little monies, little babies. That means invest your money in platforms or even businesses that will give birth to other money. So at the end of the day, you don't work for money only. Of course, in the beginning, we all work for money, but as you continue working for money, the money you've worked for starts working for you. You need to get this book, and if you're wondering how, check out the link in the description. It will take you on where you can purchase the book, soft copy version, at an affordable price. This is a book you'll enjoy reading, and I cannot wait to hear from you what you enjoyed most in this book.